Mac School Prep TV. Today what we're going to be discussing is Chapter 3 of our three-part series all about standardized testing for college. And yes, you got it right. We are officially bringing this series to a close and wrapping it all up in a nice, pretty package. If you do not know, my name is Mackenzie Warren. I'm the founder of Mac School Prep. And before we go ahead and jump into the meat, which I know you're ready to do, I just want to give you a friendly reminder now to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and also hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a beat. And on that note, no more delay. It's time. Let's get it. Alrighty, so in the previous parts of this series, we discussed what's the PSAT, the SAT, the ACT, SAT subject test, and we've also broken down what all you can expect to see on all those different types of tests. So what we're going to be talking about in today's video is some general study strategies that you need to keep in mind and make sure that you implement in order to put your best foot forward on all of the standardized tests that we've discussed thus far. My pro tip number 1 is the name of the game for acing the SAT, PSAT, ACT, and SAT subject test is practice, practice, and more practice. The bottom line is that the more you practice, the better you become at performing well under the time pressure, and the more familiar you become with all the common types of questions you will encounter on each exam. And to give you an example of what I'm talking about, when I was studying for the SAT back in the day, I was aware of the fact that I'm a much stronger reading and English student than I am in math. Not to say that I don't have any math skills, but I wanted to make sure that my math performance on the SAT was at the top of its game. And so what I chose to do was literally complete over 1,000 math problems in an SAT review book over the course of one holiday weekend. With that said, what I want to do now is provide you with a variety of different study resources that you can use so that you can make sure that you get your practice game on for all the different standardized tests that you will have to take for college. The first thing I'm going to encourage you to look into is an SAT or ACT prep course. What I did back in the day was take an SAT prep course called Test Masters. But just so you know, if this is something you're interested in, Test Masters isn't the only option out there. The Princeton Review and Kaplan are also some organizations that offer popular test prep courses as well. So you can definitely look into those, but Test Masters is the one that I always throw out there and recommend for other people to use. Now, Test Masters, Princeton Review, and Kaplan, usually their prep courses are held in group settings, but I do want you to know that there is always the option for one-on-one tutoring when it comes to the SAT or ACT. However, I do want to put a disclaimer out there that pursuing the avenue of a test prep course or one-on tutoring is something that can kind of be a little bit costly, ranging anywhere from $700 to over $1,000. So I just want you to keep that in mind. I now want to give you another option that you can look into, and that is a YouTube channel called Super Tutor TV. The lady who runs it specializes in making sure that students are well prepared to ace their SAT and ACT, the essay portions, all that great stuff. It's super, super helpful, very detailed, very thorough. The advice that she provides in the YouTube videos when it comes to test prep is definitely invaluable, and I encourage you to look into it. But I do want to say that some of her resources in completely joining and committing to her program might end up costing you around a few $100. It's definitely cheaper than test prep courses, which is why I'm super, super adamant about spreading the word about Super Tutor TV. So definitely look into it, and I'll be sure to put a link to her channel in my description below. Alrighty, so moving on to a study resource that's a little bit less pricey, I want to now talk about review books. I know that Princeton Review, Kaplan, Barron's, all of those organizations publish review books that are super, super helpful when it comes to studying and getting familiar with the PSAT, SAT, ACT, and subject tests, so you definitely want to look into those. I know for sure, when I was studying for SAT subject test, Barron's was my go-to. Also for SAT subject test, I know that the College Board is really good about offering official SAT subject test study guides, and it really doesn't get any better than that because the College Board is the one that makes the SAT subject test. So they're releasing their own study guide to ensure that you know just how to prepare for the test that they made. So if you're interested in looking into that resource, which I definitely think you should be, make sure to check out the links in the description below for more information because I definitely have you covered. Also, in terms of pricing, review books can cost anywhere between $20 and $50, which is definitely a lot cheaper than the Super Tutor TV program or test prep courses. But if you're looking for a discount or maybe to gain access to these books for free, I would definitely check out half-price books, maybe a local public library that's near you that would allow you to rent them out, or some local book drives that could also be super helpful. Now, switching gears a little bit, I want to move on to the free stuff because nothing is better than FREE. Now, I mentioned this before, Khan Academy offers free SAT and PSAT prep. All you have to do is link your College Board and your Khan Academy accounts to get personalized and tailored practice to your weaknesses and to your strengths. If you want to know how to link your College Board and Khan Academy accounts, make sure you go check out my academic resource videos on Khan Academy and the College Board, The links for instructions are definitely in the descriptions to those videos, so go check it out, go check it out, go check it out. Another thing I mentioned in the academic resource video that really delved into the College Board is that you can find full-length practice tests for PSAT and SAT on the College Board's website. So go look at that video if you haven't seen it, or if you need a refresher to know how to start navigating the College Board website so that you can get access to those free full-length practice tests that you can take on your own in a test-like setting. And finally, the last study resource I have for you that's super F-R-E-E or free is an application created by the College Board that you can download on your phone or your tablet, and it's called Daily Practice for the new SAT. Basically, with this app, you're prompted to do one SAT question a day. It might come from the evidence-based reading and writing section of the SAT, or it might come from the math section of the SAT, but regardless, it's super, super helpful. It holds you accountable and allows you to make sure that you're getting in that daily practice. If you want more information about this, make sure you check out the links in the description below. Now, with all of that information said, I want to give you one more recommendation when it comes to my pro tip number 1, and that is, yes, I get it. Some of these test prep resources are costly, they're expensive, and they require money. So my recommendation for you is that you check out different waivers and scholarship opportunities that might help you cover the cost of test prep. And how you might be able to find out about that is talking to your school counselor or even doing a simple Google search to inquire. Alrighty, well, on that note, let's go ahead and switch gears a little bit and move on to my pro tip number 2. While it's never too early as a high school student to start preparing for the SAT or ACT, if you are someone who's leaning a little bit towards taking an SAT or ACT prep course, my suggestion is that you consider starting it the summer before your junior year of high school. That way, you have ample time to get yourself ready and to also take more than one SAT or ACT exam. Also, speaking from my own experience, you're gonna find it really helpful if by your junior year, you're at the point where you're at least spending an hour to an hour and a half on SAT and ACT test prep every day during the school week, and then on the weekends, you're trying to complete 2 to 3 full-length practice tests. Another thing I have for you, speaking from experience, is that honestly, if you can get the SAT or ACT test score you want by the end of your junior year, you're definitely going to be at an advantage because you're going to be in a position where you can completely dedicate yourself to filling out college applications during that first semester of your senior year. Now, the last thing I have for you when it comes to my pro tip number 2 is that to help you figure out your own personalized, standardized test study schedule, PSAT is once again gonna be your best friend. So if you need a refresher on the PSAT process, make sure you go and check out my video series on PSAT ASAP. Alrighty, moving on to my pro tip number 3. Don't be afraid to take the SAT or the ACT exam more than one time. Reason for this is you're probably going to be happy to hear that many colleges, including the highly selective ones, super score the SAT and the ACT, meaning that your test scores aren't confined to one day in particular. Instead, colleges that super score the SAT only take into account your highest evidence-based reading and writing score and your highest math score across all the times you took the SAT exam. Similarly, when colleges super score the ACT, they only consider your new final composite score that results when your best individual subsection scores across all ACT exams that you ever took are averaged. And last but not least, my final pro tip number 4 is that look, I get it, because there are so many different subjects to choose from when you're thinking about taking SAT subject tests, it can be overwhelming. But my best advice for you is that you only take SAT subject tests that you know and are confident without a shadow of a doubt that you are going to do well on. For example, if your high grades reveal that you're a really strong English and history student, you might consider taking the SAT subject test over literature, US history, or even world history. Another suggestion I have when it comes to SAT subject tests is that you don't wait until the last minute to think about taking them. You really should be taking them over the entire duration of your high school career, even starting as early as freshman or sophomore year. And my personal opinion when it comes to SAT subject tests is that you're gonna perform better on them if you take a high school course's corresponding SAT subject test as soon as you finish taking the AP version of that high school course. To give you an example, because you already know I like to speak in super abstract terminology, after you take AP US history in high school and do really well on it, it would be in your best interest to immediately consider taking the US history subject test, because not allowing too much time to pass will ensure that the course's content is still fresh in your memory and still at the forefront of your brain. Now, with all of that said, I know I gave you another information overload, but I'm really hoping that all of this stuff was helpful. What I want to do now is go ahead and congratulate you because we've officially wrapped up our 3-part series all about standardized testing for college. Now, before you move want to tell you once again is do not forget to check out all the links in the description below, not to just this video, but for all my previous videos as well, especially the ones in this series, because I have a lot of great information and resources available for you. Now, don't leave just yet, not so fast. What I also want to encourage you to do is give this video a thumbs up if you didn't do it at the beginning, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and also make sure you hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a beat. And on that note, I will see you very soon. Bye!